And hello, everybody. Welcome to Ulysses World's News. I am Robert Aducci, and I am here with the ghost of Timothy Brown. Welcome, Tim.
Ghost.
What's a ghost?
Just
I don't see
have a
any
camera
moving
today.
image. I just hear a voice.
Okay,
Disembodied
fine.
voice.
You can make all kinds of faces.
Yes,
It's more of a mannequin.
And our special guest for the day is Alida Saxon, one of the Torg Eternity Art Directors and map makers.
Alida, welcome.
Thank you.
So we're gonna run through the Ulysses World's News here, and then we'll get to some great details and images that Alida is here to share with us in the Torg Eternity section. But first, we're gonna start off with the Ulysses Con Online Monthly. We've been doing that every month. It happened a couple weekends ago, and we had our best turnout for players and GMs so far. And the next Ulysses Con Online Monthly weekends are February 26th through 28th, and then March 26th through 28th. So if you want to run some games or play some games, get ready for those.
Awesome. And if you're a GM who wants to run games, please fill out the UCOM, that's Ulysses Con Online Monthly form, and there's a, we're going to post that. It's on Forum's website. You can fill that out.
Yep.
You can also register on... Oh, okay. You can also register on Warhorn if you want to be notified of new games, and I'm sure Robert will post that as well.
Indeed. And
both Greg Gordon, go ahead.
Both Greg Gordon and John Watson are running games that weekend. We'll be streaming John's games and working on the details on how folks can sign up with some sort of raffle or giveaway for both of those games.
Awesome. So don't forget about the monthly online com. We'd love to see you there.
Definitely.
As for other topics, the Aventuria adventure card game, we know you've all been eagerly awaiting announcement for the launch of the Extraordinary Heroes crowdfunding. And we have that for you now. The next Aventuria crowdfunding for Extraordinary Heroes will start on March the 2nd. That's our big announcement for the day. That crowdfunding starts March the 2nd. We're going to post a preview link to get notifications as soon as it's available. So keep your eye out for that.
Yeah, moving on into the Dark Eye. So our German team just launched our first full virtual tabletop offering in German with the Dark Eye for Foundry Virtual Tabletop. And you know what that means? Right after, I say right after, but soon, we don't have a date, but we will soon have an English version as well, although we don't have a date to announce quite yet.
Nice.
But you can catch the video where they talk about it on the Ulysses Spiel German channel, Twitch channel, and I'll put that in the chat as well and in the notes. Of course, it's all in German, but you can see it and it looks beautiful. It definitely uses a lot of the graphics from the books and stuff, so it looks nice. And I've never used Foundry, so I watched it for a couple minutes and it looks really cool. I really like the implementation.
I'm hoping to play on Foundry at some point. I've been hearing very good things about it.
Yeah, me too.
Awesome. So that's very exciting news for the Dark Eye. Moving on, we're talking about Myth, Dawn of Heroes. Of course, that's a terrific game we're coming out with here very soon. Eric has recently posted a couple of updates showing off some of the molds we have for Journeyman miniatures. You going to post a link for that?
Yep, there's a Kickstarter update, and I will definitely post that link as well. Onto the Tales of Legend, which is the Myth role-playing game. We don't have a lot of news to announce, but if you have not played it yet, you can grab it and you can kind of see what we're doing with it on the quick starter that we have for that we have for Tales of Legend, which is pay what you want on DriveThruRPG.
Now, of course, behind the scenes for Myth Tales of Legend, Ross Watson is working feverishly. He hardly sleeps. That's what he tells me. And there's a lot of great manuscripts coming across my desk. And right now, it's pretty exciting. It is a very unique and interesting world that's going to complement the Myth board game. And we're talking now about exactly what kind of miniature crossovers there's going to be between the two product lines. So watch this space.
Yeah. And I think he's not sleeping, not because of the role-playing game, but just because he got a new dog.
Oh, that's right. He has a new dog keeping him up, too. I thought it was enthusiasm for his job. Man, he's got me fooled.
All right. Fading Suns, we have announced before that everything's out to the printers and we're expecting everything to be hopefully in people's hands sometime late March, early April. So be on the lookout for that. As far as streams, Bill Bridges and Andrew Greenberg have Heretical Musings the first and third Thursdays of the month. Last week they talked about campaign ideas and running Fading Suns for new GMs. So we'll put that up on YouTube and Twitch. And JM and the crew of the Oh Boy are back. They're streaming every other Thursday at 5:30 Pacific and are scheduled for tonight. In tonight's game, the crew is on the run. The crew is on the run. On Shaprut, and was spotted. Jexa was shot, and Calypso was captured. Can they regroup, rescue the captain, and fix Jexa's dad? Jexa's dad. Jexa. Or will Dyrick capture Jexa and control the Engineers Guild? You'll have to tune in to find out tonight at 5:30.
Awesome. So that's our fun with Fading Suns. Now moving on to our Torg Eternity products. The Orrorsh crowdfunding is live on GameOnTabletop.com right now. We smashed through our funding goal in 30 minutes on day one, which is to be expected for something as exciting as Orrorsh. And we passed the 140K stretch goal and are on to the next one now. Eric, who runs most of our crowdfundings, announced recently a 200K goal of STL files for the 3D printing, so you can 3D print the different High Lords. So you can check that out and back now if you have, and share that with your friends, because we really want to reach that and get those STL files out to everybody. Have you you got a link to post for that as well?
For sure. Yep.
Awesome. And of course, as we're here talking about Torg Eternity, it's time to really dig in with our special guest today, Alida Saxon. Everybody welcome Alida.
Hey, welcome.
We want to find out more about what you're contributing to Torg. So maybe we could just start out. I mean, how did you get involved professionally in the games industry?
Well, it's a good long while ago, at least it feels like it, back in 98. When LiveJournal was a thing, I met Aaron Acevedo there in an illustration group, and he was looking for artists. And I've always been into fantasy art, sci-fi art, and wanted to do that as a career more than graphic design. And doing ads for dentists and things like that. So it just sort of gradually went from there. I ended up taking over for him as art director at Savage Mojo. And then I ended up joining him at his studio doing art direction. And when we picked up the Torg line, I was there pretty much from the first box set. And I've been doing work with it the whole line, pretty much. I think the only one we didn't do was Living Lands.
Okay. Cool.
So what was the, so you said you kind of started from the beginning, right from the core box set. What were some of the things you worked on for that box set?
Well, we were establishing the core archetypes, their look and feel, and getting some of the first cards done, that sort of thing. And pretty much establishing the look of how the big maps looked, and, carrying that style through the line. So all here and there, he didn't expect it to become as big as it's been. So this is awesome.
Nice.
So I was kind of curious with, and I see a lot of the invoices come across, but line for line, how many different artists are you coordinating to say work on Orrorsh, for instance?
Well, this one, I think we had about 10 or so. Because we plan so carefully ahead of time before the Kickstarter, we usually have time to, I like to find artists who are really going to be enthusiastic about the content that they're making. So I try to pick the artists that I think are really going to like, well, for this one, the horror settings and, what I feel that they'll do well at. So it'll change depending on which cosm we're working on, and also who's available as well.
Of course. In the Orrorsh lineup of artists, of those roughly 10, Are there any that are absolutely new, and how many are folks that have created art for other Torg Eternity Cosms?
Actually, we have quite a few new people. Let me pull up, actually, I keep a spreadsheet for all this. You can't
Hey, that's a
catch
great
me out.
idea. I should do that.
Organization. Oh, let's see. Yeah, we actually have some people who were still with us in the previous Cosm. We've got Talon Dunning back again. He's done quite a bit of work through the lines, and he's a really big fan of Torg, so he's great on all the little details, getting it right. We have some new folks. As always, we've got Miguel Flores, who does our pencils for our archetypes and monsters. So we have this established look going right through from the core box. It's going to be all the way through all the cosms. So we have you can pull archetypes from the different cosms together, and they look great together. So of course we had him back for that, and lots of good folks.
Awesome.
So if someone wants to, like, if someone would want to do art for us, like, how do you usually go about finding artists?
We have a email box that we collect profile the submissions in that we'll look over. Usually when we know that art order is going to be dropping soon, we'll look at some new portfolios and things like that. But we also like to keep folks that we've worked with before as well.
Of course.
But usually after a Cosm finishes up on the Kickstarter is probably a good time to hit us up, because we'll be planning for the next in this case the final Cosm very shortly.
Is that an inbox we can get a link to, so to post for people to get in touch?
Let me pull it up.
While you're looking for that, I'll hit you up with the more basic questions, like how did so many people come to us and ask, how can I get involved, submissions and all of that, but what are some things you're kind of looking for when people are creating new submissions, or more importantly, maybe some don'ts if you're making your submission, what is some things maybe not to do?
Well, the important thing is showing that you've got a range, because Torg covers pretty much anything you can think of.
Yeah.
So, if you can do sci-fi, you can do fantasy. We want to be able to see that you can do scenes, but we're not going to rule you out if, say, you mainly do just figures.
Okay.
So it's being able to show a consistent series of pieces of art, so that we know that you've got a strong grasp of illustration and can create reliably on a schedule. I know that's tough for folks getting in the industry, but really, is just keep making art and building your portfolio. I want to see usually at least 10 pieces in your portfolio, because if I only see like 3 or 4, I really can't get a good idea of what the scope of what you're capable of.
That makes sense. Sure.
So the email address for our portfolios box is pigportfolios, PEG portfolios @gmail.com. I'll type it in here for you.
Yeah.
Well, we'll definitely share that out. There are always people who are looking to break in, and there's a need for art. So we want to give people opportunities.
And if you don't hear from us immediately, it's probably because we're like crunched with a deadline. But we do look at everything. So, you are getting before eyes when you send to that.
Nice. So not only are you an art director, but you also create art for us. What's been some of
Awesome.
your favorite pieces of art that you've done for Ulysses?
I really enjoyed doing the Living Lands one because it was playing with that, the modern setting and then basically wrecking it with the jungle taking over. You can play with really getting into the damage and forest and greenery taking over. So it was a lot more challenging, but also just a lot more fun than a lot of maps I sometimes have to do.
Yeah, so we're looking on the screen right now. Folks should see that overgrown map that you did. How do you do some of these? Like, is all of this like completely custom, or do you like use assets and modify them to kind of make them look like they work well together? What's your
I'll use a lot of photography as my base. That I'll pull together various textures and objects, and then once I get the rough look of it in there, that's when I start painting. Because no matter what kind of photographic resources you get, there's ways you want to customize it and make it actually something special.
Sure.
So
yeah, just looking at this, I like how there's like some spots where it looks like there's like a bunch of like metal pieces that are all just trashed, and I like the trees and houses, or trees and bushes growing out of the buildings and stuff. It's cool.
Yeah.
Trampled by Tyrannosauruses.
Yeah. I like here. Looks like there's a tree, and then it's like gapping, goes from one building to the other. It's like you could cross it.
Yeah, the request was so that you would that players would have like, well, they want to be able to get to this building, so give them some options. I'd work with whoever's designed the rough for the map and try to get it so that, especially for this one, which is the battle maps. So you're going to have it down, and you want to give people a way to narrate themselves through the either combat or exploration. So,
so you mentioned all of the different genres. What's it like to work on a project that has kind of so many different genres within it?
It can be really challenging at times getting the resources for artists and finding out how it's meshing together, since you'd have some settings where you could have a machine gun in some almost fantasy, depending on when you're getting the crossing the cosms and things like that. So sometimes we'll have to go back with these art notes and go, okay, are we getting what you're wanting in your head there, right? And most of our artists have been really good about being versatile. So long as you can get them the photo reference they need, they've been great filling in the gaps. So it's challenging, but it keeps it interesting.
Right.
Nice.
Very cool. So who are some of the, just to ask, general question around the games industry, who are some of the other cartographers, mappers, and artists who you particularly admire?
Oh, geez. Honestly, I've had my head in my desk so often. That's like, I would have needed some time to repair. Well, actually, I really admire what Aaron's done with the maps, because that's where I started out. He's, suggested I get into this sort of work, and he showed me a few things, and I just sort of been building with there, and he often gives me good feedback on stuff that I'm working on, and I work on several styles. Torg it's sort of like a photo bash sort of painted mix, and just helps me get in the right direction, because
cool.
As an art director, you're the one that's supposed to be giving the feedback, and then there's times where I'm being the artist, and it's great to have somebody else go, okay, that works and that doesn't.
Well, that's great. We always want to give props to the remarkable and talented Aaron Acevedo, who is heads up Sigil Entertainment, right? That is a tremendous resource of artists, of which we've certainly taken full advantage of that, especially for Torg Eternity, and it's really remarkable what he and you and everybody puts together for us, and it's made it one of the most graphically pleasing and coherent product lines that's out there as far as games are concerned. I just love it.
Yeah, it's been a great long project. It's been awesome to be connected with it through its very long run. It's not often you get to see how it progressed through time, and it really is a huge project. So.
Isn't it though? Years in the making.
Yes.
And years to come. I mean, we're really just getting through now frankly the year one activities in the product line, and the setting itself, and as we move on to year two, I don't want to pin you down, but there's probably going to be some adjustments to the art and the feel as the entire situation on the world changes.
So far we've been focusing on getting the cosms nailed down, and then after that, I'm sure there's going to be some interesting developments, and I look forward to reading what we need to come up with.
So talking about all the individual cosms, we've done most of them. We're on to Orrorsh, and then we still have Pan Pacifica. But over all of them, what do you think is your favorite cosm so far?
I really like Nile. That sort of pulpy, Indiana Jones, The Mummy.
Right.
That sort of fun, sort of adventure thing. It was great. I actually did the box art design on the top. That was a heck of a lot of fun to paint that up, where I took the original sarcophagus photo and then edited it so that it had gun and the whole bit. And that was a lot of fun to make. And it was just I sort of like that area and genre. It's fun.
Yeah, I like it too. So we're currently crowdfunding the Orrorsh cosm for Torg Eternity. Tell us about some of the art you've done for it. We've got a few pieces I can throw up here.
Yeah, I showed you some of the maps. I can probably show you some of the interior art if I can do a screen share with you. But
we can definitely do that.
Let me haul together my folder.
Show some art here. So let's see. Tell us about this Cathan Gad.
Yeah, that's from what I understand, it's like a vampire's lair. She's like got her sarcophagus down there in the basement, and working through the layout for the place, and so I did a mix of that sort of painting style with the rock up front. Tried to get it interesting looking for the rest of the layout. So we got all the floor layers and stuff like that.
Nice. And you use like primarily Photoshop, or what do you use to make your art?
I use a mix of Photoshop and Clip Studio, which is a sort of, it's another really good Clip Studio paint that I know a lot of comic artists use it, but it's got really great tools in there that I find with brushes that are far better than Photoshop. So I sort of switch between the two.
Interesting. And how about this? Looks like you got a London street map as well.
Yes, foggy London street night scene. And we always try to keep an idea with the battle maps that, we're coming up with something cool that fits the cosm, but we also want to think about, how can GMs reuse it in other games that they're doing. So we don't try to make it too locked down so that, people have some additional value out of it.
Right. Well, we all play a lot of games, and we love to kit bash this stuff around.
Yes.
And, use it here and there. So I totally get that. And that's awesome that you've got that sensibility as you're creating it as well.
Yeah. This map, it's kind of like your standard, street scene. So yeah, it can be used for lots of different purposes. And I like how there's, different parts. Like there's some wide streets and there's some alleys here. So you could use it for, not, for different aspects. jumping from.
So it
building to
fits
building.
the kind of narrative that they're trying to communicate with the Orrorsh one, but you could turn around and throw a few more objects on it or whatever, and bash it for something else.
Yeah, definitely. And then here we have the Orrorsh Cosm map. How do you make these? They look very
The look
Google
was
Maps.
established way back with the first box set. We were trying to find something that didn't look too attached to any particular time period, because we were struggling between, well, you've got periods that could be like high fantasy or things like with the Isle and stuff like that, and then all through to pretty much futuristic high tech. So
Sure.
we nailed down that look with Shane, and just sort of as each Cosm came along, I would get the info from the folks at where I had to move all the points and things like that.
Right. Right.
So it's the maps made in a mix of Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator. Adobe Illustrator is like a vector program. So it's a sort of a wireframe type thing that helps me build and move these things around without having to completely redraw stuff. And we adjust it with each Cosm.
Nice.
Terrific. Yeah, it looks really good.
In the chat, people are saying the Pan Pacifico Orrorsh mix zones, those are going to be scary.
No doubt.
Yeah, absolutely.
And did you you able to get what you need up for sharing your screen?
Yeah, I think I got it set up. Let's just make sure that I'm not like creating this Inception type thing going on.
Yeah, we'll see how it works.
Share
Right,
screen. All right.
Adjust things as needed here.
Let's see if we can get that up.
Perfect.
Speaking of scary. Let's see.
Oh, there we go.
Adjust it a little bit.
If you see me looking off to the side, I'm using my double screen here to get things up. So hopefully folks can see.
Yeah, we're getting there. 1 second here. Pull
Just these in, yeah. That's a great piece.
That's the pencils were done by Bien Flores, who I mentioned earlier about doing a really consistent look through the whole line on archetypes and monsters. And the painting, the color painting of it was done by John Taylor. I really love how it came out.
Very rich.
I would not want to turn around and find that.
Yeah,
for sure.
The freaky thing about this picture is, as you can see, the feet are going the opposite direction.
Yeah, and you don't really see it immediately.
Yeah,
which is the wonderful thing about it. And then you go like, oh crap.
Let me get it so you can see the whole thing here. There you go. Almost. Yeah. And what is it? What is this creature?
It is titled Bahoot, Bhoot.
Interesting.
I don't know a lot of the mythology about it, but they were doing a great job at pulling from India's local, history and culture for coming up with some new and interesting monsters.
Very cool.
Or at least new to perhaps to folks who are coming to the game.
Yeah.
Here's Very one nice. Of our scenes. This one's done by Bad Moon Studios, one of the ones that are on the new side for us.
It looks like we lost the stream. Ooh. If you want to do it again.
Let me try that again. Share screen. Go live. There we go. Hopefully.
Oh, there we go. Yep.
Perfect.
Very cool. Nice.
Yeah, do good work.
was this one? Blood Maw. Nice. Yeah, that's cool.
Bring it in. Doesn't seem to want to let me move easily through the stuff, but here we go.
That's crazy looking.
Yeah, for sure.
Or what is going on there? A helmet? Or is that just the face?
It's like a little puppet creature.
Okay.
Yeah. If I wasn't so impulsive on doing this, I probably would have gotten you guys some better notes on it. But
that's right. These are some nice.
You could say, buy the books and you'll find out what the heck these things mean.
Yeah, right. That is cool.
Yeah, great feel. Feels very Torg too. I love it.
Actually, I've got a piece here that I can. Pardon?
I was just saying, folks in the chat, if you're in the Twitch chat, if you have any questions for Alida, feel free to ask them, or any questions about this art, go ahead too. Yeah, those are some great pieces. Oh, that's awesome.
This one's one from Talon, who's been doing work through a good long while. One of the Ravagons.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool.
There's a whole bunch of great art coming along.
Thanks for sharing some of these. That's awesome.
Yeah.
No problem. I do love showing off what the artists have done.
See people saying that they hope that we have some prints available for purchase at the Vegas Con next year.
Sounds good.
Oh, wouldn't it be nice to going back to, seeing people?
Yeah, right.
In person.
We're all looking forward to that.
All right. Let's see. There we go. We'll get you back in there. All right. Well, if looks like we don't really have any questions at the moment, but thanks for actually we do have one more, not necessarily announcements, but we have a few more details about Torg. So one of the new features of this crowdfunding is an online stream game with Greg Gordon. 5 lucky backers will be randomly selected to play with Greg live on Ulisses, the Ulisses International Twitch channel at the end of the campaign. And we've been drawing names from participating backers through the campaign. So when you pledge, you just have to select the add-on, which is a free streaming add-on, and then we've so far picked 4 people. So at the end of day 1, day 2, week 1, and week 2, we each picked someone to play with Greg, and then we're gonna have one more next Tuesday at the end of the campaign. So you still have one more chance to win a seat at that table. And again, all you have to do is add the free raffle add-on to any backer level.
Yeah, so we've got 4 out of the 5 picked so far. That's right.
That's right.
And the next one will be announced this coming Tuesday. Is that what
yeah, at the end, sometime at the end of after the end of the crowdfunding. We'll announce it.
Awesome. So good luck. Good luck. You still might get in.
Definitely.
Our streaming content is still consistently up there for people to see on various platforms for Torg. At our last Ulisses Online Con Monthly panel, the panels are on YouTube, and you can listen to the designers talk about Orrorsh, as well as some general Torg questions from the community. In addition to that, the Horseman is every Tuesday at 5:30 Pacific on Twitch, followed by an upload to YouTube. This is a game mastered by John Matthew DeFoge and features Ross Watson. And of course, he was a designer of the original Torg Eternity game as well. What else is going on?
So the Reality Raiders 3, our 80s packed Torg Eternity game in partnership with WebDM, excuse me, recently ended, but you can catch all of those videos up on the WebDM Plays YouTube channel. And in addition, we continue that partnership throughout the Orrorsh crowdfunding. And WebDM Plays is doing a three episode kind of mini season that has been on Sundays at 8:30 Eastern time, and they've been selecting Delphi missions from the Orrorsh book, so the unreleased book. You can go check those out at WebDM Plays and kind of see what's in store if you were a backer. And again, that is
Awesome.
at 5 p.m. Pacific or 8 p.m. Eastern on the WebDM Plays YouTube channel. In addition, Lehman Crafton, one of our Torg designers, streamed the creation of the Resourceful Alchemist, which must have been a piece that you art directed, Alida. It's a pretty cool image of the of this kind of alchemist person with a cool sort of bionic arm. And
well, I'm on the spot now. I'm just trying to remember.
That's right. Yeah, it was a really cool image. And so he said that he had kind of put in that the art request for it, and it came back awesome. And so he basically built the archetype on stream. So you can go watch that on his YouTube channel. And if you haven't seen that, I'll post it right now. I'll at least post the link.
Awesome. So, Alida, you've been a terrific guest for us today, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Is there anything else you want to add or say to the various Torg or Ulisses fans that are out there today?
Oh, just thanks for the support, and we hope you are really liking the art in the books.
I know they are. We get a lot of compliments on it at our end, and I'm glad they sometimes get through to you. So that's terrific. Thanks so much for all your great work.
Definitely. And do you have any social media that you connect with people on?
Oh, I don't do a ton of social media connecting, really, but
no worries.
I have such a unique name. You could probably hunt me down if you really, really wanted, and I could act really alarmed.
All right, no worries. Yeah, so thank you again for being on, and thanks for watching the Ulisses World Show. If you'd like to chat more with Ulisses folks or other fans, please check out our Discord community. And if you like the show, please follow and subscribe to our channels on Twitch and YouTube, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss anything. So for Ulisses Spiel, I'm Robert Aducci, and this is Timothy Brown and Alida Saxon. Thanks for watching. And
thanks a lot, everybody.
Come back next week, Thursday, February 18th at 9 a.m. Pacific for more Ulisses World's news. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.